All right, it is the next morning, and so after I got the car out of the trailer and obviously back on the jack stands, like I said, got a little bit of late night motivation, thankfully. Um, I had been avoiding this whole dealio, and let's see if you can see it. Yeah, you should be able to. Right there, that little dipstick, freaking for the transmission. Um, so overall, I haven't pointed it out much, and I'm going right back into it, and you can't really see it all that well anyway, but the downpipe for the car is just, it's covered in turbo blanket and heavily wrapped and all that stuff, so it's a very, very tight fit. Like I even had to move the AOS hoses out of the way just to get it to go down. And it's got 4 years worth of freaking I don't even know, I guess partial rust or just extreme grip from the V-band clamp onto the flanges. So it wasn't as much of a headache, but I will admit my lazy nature had been prevalent, so I just wasn't willing to dig into it. But anyway, rather than bore y'all with the stupidity that I was going through last night, it was more just figuring out all the nut and bolt sizes that I needed to get the exhaust off, because I actually had to take off part of the mid pipe, and there's 2 sections to the down pipe. I had to separate those two, and then finally, well, I had to reattach it to be able to jimmy this V-band clamp free from the back of the turbo, because that was stuck on there. Definitely no leaks whatsoever on that part, but either way, got it all done. I drained checked the transmission fluid first. It was definitely low. I'm not sure if it was low enough to cause the grinding noise, or the whining noise, I should say. It wasn't grinding, it was whining, and the shifting was still perfectly okay. It was just the whining at above 30 miles an hour was, it wasn't horrendous, but it was enough to be like, yikes. And so I drained the fluid out last night. Fluid looked perfectly fine. And then I refilled it, and so now it's back up to full level. And it's the next morning, like I said, and I'm getting ready to put it back together. So I will, hopefully it doesn't take too long. Video, it'll be a snap of the fingers, but let's hope that this goes smoothly and quickly. So here we go. I will talk to you after I'm done. Well, that went much, much smoother than I had anticipated. It was easier, actually, oddly enough, to put it back together than it was to take it apart. The biggest issue that I was afraid of was this V-band clamp right here, just because turbo blanket's in the way. This is the blanket that I was talking about, just absolutely smothering the downpipe, and it creates a very, very tight space to work with. I'm sure it does a lot. I've never had problems with heat, but and by that I mean, the turbo blanket keeps the heat where it's supposed to be, as well as the downpipe blanket. But it just creates a mess in order, for maintenance and whatnot. I also had to unplug the O2 sensor, so I'm hoping that does all right. But yeah, that V-band clamp actually went on much easier when we go. It went together easy. I'm happy though still that I didn't film while I was doing it, because there are a few nuances and whatnot, but all together. So that bolt right there, that went in easier than I thought. V-band was much easier. This was the only problem child right here. The actual bracket on the exhaust is not, I kind of had to force the bolt into it, so that was easy, or not easy, but that was the most complicated part. And then the shop gave me new hardware, so that's pretty cool. But overall, it went together much easier. There's the nest, the famous loud pipe right there, but there's the nest, and you can see the turbo blanket just takes up the downpipe blanket takes up a whole lot of space, and just makes everything so much more confusing and complicated and hard to work with. And the whole time, the reason why I took that bolt off was because it connects the wastegate with the downpipe, and I refuse, unless absolutely necessary, to even think about playing around with the external wastegate. That thing is, it's up there. That space is not fun to deal with. Hand cramps like crazy. But anyway, enough on that. And fun fact, bam, look at that. You can see the ACT clutch. It's pretty cool. Anyway, so temporary fix, because I use the Subaru gear oil for it. And the as I get closer to the track weekend, there's going to be a part 2 to this exact same project, but I'm going to be using the Multiple Gear 300. This time around, I was just kind of obviously I didn't know that might have been the problem. Didn't even ring a bell in my head to think that the gear oil in the transmission might be an issue. So that will be done right before, as well as brakes, and I'm gonna bleed the brakes again. Also have to do an oil change on it. There's a list of things. The only, really honestly, I've kept the wheels and the brake pads on it, which I know I've said, and I have them right here, street application, but I just didn't feel like playing with the car before taking it to the shop. So there we are. And like I said in my previous video, still have this guy to put on there, so I'm pretty excited for that. Although I'm a little bit upset that it wasn't put on. I can't, like I said, complain. I didn't communicate properly or clearly enough saying that it was in the back seat. And the good thing about them not knowing that it was there, I suppose, is they didn't go snooping around the car. So there's that. But anyway, I'm gonna give it a fire up and see how well this goes. I'm just trying to see if there's any exhaust leaks or not. Hopefully none, but you know, we shall see. And unfortunately too, I don't have nearly the ethanol content that I did have before, so this is going to start a lot easier, and it's also 50 degrees outside, so here we go. Shop out there in front automotive, but look at how gross that is. It went from 79 to 55, well, almost 56, but not a fan of it. 79 was a lot of fun. It did drain a lot of fluid, or a lot of gas, but it was nice seeing almost 85. So everything sounds normal. Not even sure if you can hear me, but everything sounds good on the car. Sounds like it's good. Need to clean it up, and then I'm gonna go take it out for a test drive. So, looks like that project is done. Maybe, we'll see. I still gotta take it out for a test drive, like I just mentioned. And yeah, I'm gonna go take it out for a little bit of a drive. I'm gonna wipe it down first because it's a mess and hasn't been touched and cleaned in forever. But there you have it, y'all. The car is back up. I'm also excited to see how the new rear diff feels, because I've never felt an LSD, and if that's what I had in it before, then cool. But I have a feeling this is going to be very, very different, being a 1.5 way. So if you're like me and you didn't know before, 1.5 way, I actually had to refresh myself there, but for a 1.5 way, it'll lock up during acceleration and just slightly under braking. So hopefully coming out of corners will be a much smoother process, and the power will be able to be laid down very, very well and smoothly. Hopefully it'll eliminate squirreliness, which has always been a problem for me, mostly out of coming around a roller coaster on VIR, and then also turn 1, oddly enough. But it should also help for turn 3, which is going right into the S turn. If you know VIR well enough, it's a really you swoop around to the right for a while, then it's a slight left, and then it's a very tight left to a short straightaway. So hopefully that tight left will be a lot more manageable, and I'll have a lot more capability. We'll see. I don't know. Got a month and a half to see, but here we are. I'm gonna go take it out for a test drive, see how it goes. All right. Well, car is washed up right out in the driveway. Gave her a quick bath for the first time in I don't even know how long. Gonna get her started up and going out for a test drive to see how this thing goes, and I'll take you all along with me. So here we go, letting her warm up, and then off we go to hopefully see that the problem is resolved. All right, so back from the test drive. As you guys could tell from the video, and I'm recording this before I look at the in-car video as well, so I don't know if you could actually hear me. However, I don't know what this noise is. Everything reads normal, everything functions normal. Maybe there was just something that got shook loose or whatever. I have no idea. I'll lift the car back up. I need to take these brakes out. I thought other people around me were squealing, and nope, it's in fact me. The brakes got hot and then they got cool, and when I am just putting through town or the city, it's not good for it. So my brakes were the ones that were squeaking, so now I'm realizing why it says not meant for street use, because it sounds like your brakes are bad. Anyway, yeah, I'm kind of at a loss, and I guess we're at square one. It almost makes me feel like I just spent a whole lot of money on the rear diff for absolutely no reason and had the car at a shop and all that. But the important part is I did fix an issue that I did have. So the rear diff did in fact have a lot of metal shavings, and there are even chunks of metal in there. And with the stock locker, LSD, whatever you want to call it, that was in there, maybe it was an open diff. With the stock one that was in there, the case is closed, unlike the Cusco, however anybody pronounces it. Unlike that one, it has windows, so you can pretty much see everything. Like, you can see the springs and whatnot. But the OEM one is just closed off with hardly any holes for fluid to get in and out of it. So I could tear it apart. I just have no idea what the heck is wrong. It could be the transmission. I hope it's not. And the problem only occurs on deceleration. It also only happens when in gear, which leads me to believe it's even more the transmission, possibly synchros or something. But again, it drives perfectly fine. So I guess there we have it. I don't know really what to say other than I'm just going to drive it. And if something happens, I'll suck it up and probably have to get the gearing redone. But I already want to get a long gear set for this car. It's got the version 7, which is like the shortest gears you can possibly get in the STI. but I want to get the long gear ratio just to be able to go to higher speeds and possibly make it a little bit more VIR friendly, because I do shift quite a bit at VIR. We'll see if that even does anything, but what I will say is it is insane when I hit boost and the locker locks up under or the LSD locks up under acceleration. It is absolutely insane. It is a little bit rough coming from a stop and going slow, but it is exhilarating when it locks up because all the power is connected. It's pretty awesome. So I've noticed that so far. So kind of, if that's street driving, I'm excited to know what it's going to be like on the track. But anyhow, with that, it's all for this saga of the car. I'll continue tinkering around and poking around underneath, but I have no idea what's going on, and I don't really want to chase my tail, but digging around is better than not. So, alright y'all, until next time, stay driven.